Welcome to the Goodyear Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. We're excited to have you be a part of this important public process. Tonight, you will have the opportunity to address the commission on both non-agenda and agenda items. The agendas and speaker request cards are located in the back of the council chambers. You must fill out a speaker request card in order to address the commission. Please hand in your completed card to a city staff member. You may check the "I do not wish to speak" option on the card. This allows you to still voice your opinion on an item on the record without having to speak. In accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, please contact a staff member if you need any assistance. Public comment on a non-agenda item will take place during the citizen comment portion of the evening. These are items that don't appear on tonight's formal agenda. The commission secretary will call your name when it's time for you to speak. At that time, please approach the podium and tell us your name for the record. You'll have a maximum of 3 minutes. The timer is on the screens visible from the podium. Note that you may also choose not to speak if other speakers before you have said what you wanted to say. Shouting, cheering, and loud noises will not be tolerated, and violators may be removed for disrupting the meeting. Goodyear Planning and Zoning Commission meetings stream live on YouTube and online at goodyearaz.gov. Follow the city's social media pages so you don't miss out on all that's happening in Goodyear. Thank you for coming to this meeting and being an active part of your city. And remember, it's a great time to be in Goodyear.
Good evening. The Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Wednesday, June 11th, 2025 is called to order. Will you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the Secretary note the roll?
Absolutely. Commissioner Hegedus, are you on the line? Commissioner Hegedus? We were trying to get Commissioner Hegedus on the phone, and if we do not have him, we do not have a quorum, so please give me a few minutes. Commissioner Hegedus, are you there? I apologize, just having a few technical difficulties. Commissioner Hegedus, are you there? We're going to try and reconnect right now. Please hold.
There he is. Oh, you're hanging out. Okay. There he went.
We're just trying to get him on the line. Unfortunately, if we are not able to, we do not have a quorum, so just give us just a few minutes. Commissioner Hegedus, are you there?
Can you call in on FaceTime or something?
We're figuring it out.
Hello.
Commissioner Hegedus, is that you? Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Oh, good. Is that you, Commissioner Hegedus?
Hello.
Hello? We got him.
Sort of.
All right.
Hello.
Can you hear us? Are you there? Can you hear anything, Commissioner Hegedus? Can you hear us? Hello?
Testing 1, 2, 3 for Kent.
Testing for Commissioner Hegedus. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I apologize for the delay. Please proceed with roll call.
Okay, Chairman Clymer is present, Commissioner Nepomuceno is present, Commissioner Hegedus is on the phone, Commissioner Roberts is present, Vice Chair Sambito is absent, Commissioner Wang is absent, and Commissioner Booth is absent. We have a quorum. At this time, a vote shall be taken to excuse members unable to attend due to extenuating circumstances. Is there a motion and a second to excuse Commissioners Sambito, Wang, and Booth from the meeting? I have a motion from Commissioner Nepomuceno and a second from Commissioner Roberts. Please enter your vote.
And Commissioner Hegedus, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Okay, item number 1 is to approve the draft minutes of the last meeting. Will the secretary please read the recommendation?
Approve the draft minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting held on May 7th, 2025. Is there a motion and a second for the staff recommendation? We have a motion from Commissioner Nepomuceno and a second from Commissioner Roberts. Please enter your vote.
Commissioner Hegedus, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Okay, now is the time for citizens who would like to address the Planning and Zoning Commission with any non-agenda items. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak, and do we have any speaker cards?
I have no speaker cards.
Okay. Okay, no one wishes to speak. Now, this is an opportunity for commission members to disclose any ex parte communications they may have had prior to the meeting on any item scheduled for discussion on this agenda. Ex parte communication is an outside communication commissioners may have had regarding tonight's items. Is there anyone that has such a thing? Okay. There is one public hearing on the agenda tonight. As a reminder, the Planning and Zoning Commission is a recommendation board for the council. The commission will vote on each item and forward the recommendation to council. Council will make the final decision on all items. Agenda item, let's see, number 2 and 3 will be presented together. And agenda item number 2 is for the resale for Pebble Creek Marketplace. I'm going to open the public hearing. Assistant Planner Jimmy Carrion will present. Good evening, Jimmy.
Good evening, Chairman Clymer, members of the commission. Jimmy Carrion, Assistant Planner with the City of Goodyear. Just making sure this is on the screen. All right, looks like we're good to go. So I'm here before you this evening, as you mentioned, Chairman Clymer, with two requests, one of which is contingent upon the approval of the other. And for this reason, I'll be discussing both requests during my presentation. The first is a staff-initiated rezone to remove the Pebble Creek Marketplace CSP, or Comprehensive Sign Package, from the zoning, the Pebble Creek Marketplace Planned Area Development, or PAD. The second request from Shirley Lam is to amend the Pebble Creek Marketplace Comprehensive Sign Package, or CSP for short. And this amendment includes an addition of one multi-tenant monument sign, as well as allowing users within the bounds of this CSP request to utilize the existing freeway pylon signage. So I'd first like to talk about the CSP amendment request. A recommendation of approval to City Council for the amendment of the Pebble Creek Marketplace CSPs I just mentioned. The bounds of this new amended CSP, the bold yellow outline surrounding both the green and red shaded areas, applies to approximately 55 acres of mixed-use commercial and multifamily commercial property. There are two separate but adjoining areas, each zoned Planned Area Development, or PAD, one being the Pebble Creek Marketplace Mixed Use Phase 2 PAD, highlighted in green, the other being the Pebble Creek Marketplace Final PAD, highlighted in red. A CSP for the Pebble Creek Marketplace PAD has been created and amended twice thus far with council approval. As you can see from the graphic on the screen, the Pebble Creek Marketplace CSP covers the 25-acre property for the Pebble Creek Marketplace. However, a CSP has never been created for the 30-acre area within the Pebble Creek Marketplace Mixed Use Phase 2 PAD. So this area currently follows Article 7 of the sign regulations of the Goodyear zoning ordinance. So this request proposes to amend the bounds of the current Pebble Creek Marketplace CSP to include the Pebble Creek Marketplace Mixed Use Phase 2 PAD, the area highlighted in green in the prior slide. And although both PADs are separate, they do share an adjoining boundary. An adjacent boundary. The applicant mentions as well in their narrative that by creating one CSP for both PADs, a high-quality, cohesive tenant identification program would be established. The same design standards established in the current Pebble Creek Marketplace CSP will now apply to this whole area, depicted by the graphic on the screen. This will ensure visual continuity and a consistent branding approach throughout the broader development. And although the same design standards will carry over to the newly incorporated 30-acre area, there is also a request to add one additional multi-tenant monument sign along the McDowell frontage road, increasing the multi-tenant monument signs within this CSP from 2 to 3. This new monument sign will provide users within the new bounds of the CSP, including those in the newly incorporated area, with the opportunity for street frontage advertising along McDowell Road. In the graphic, you can see the locations of the two existing monument signs labeled 3-1. So one's along McDowell Road, the other along Pebble Creek Parkway. You can also see the new sign located along McDowell, labeled 3-2 and called out with the blue arrow, which would be within the bounds of the newly incorporated area. The height and scale of this new monument sign will be the exact same as the two existing monument signs. The only difference to the design, as you can see in this graphic, would be the tenant panel sizing and quantity. So the existing multi-tenant monument signs provide 2 larger full-width panels towards the top with 6 smaller half-width panels below. The new multi-tenant monument sign would have 6 equally sized full-length panels. And I also felt it prudent to mention that users within the bounds of the newly incorporated Pebble Creek Marketplace Phase 2 mixed-use PAD will also be able to advertise on the existing freeway pylon sign. This location is located on the northwest corner of Pebble Creek Parkway and Interstate 10, pointed out with the blue arrow here in the bottom right corner. However, there is one issue. Typically, we would simply amend the existing CSP to include the new design standards. We can't do that in this case because the Pebble Creek Marketplace CSP was codified into the zoning for the Pebble Creek Marketplace, within the Pebble Creek Marketplace PAD for the 25-acre site. So the inclusion, just to give a little bit of background, the inclusion of CSPs into zoning was common practice years ago, but is no longer standard practice because any changes to a CSP would create an entire public hearing process that might not be needed for minor changes. A great example is the case before you today. So this is where the request to rezone comes into play. This rezone request is staff initiated and would remove the Pebble Creek Marketplace CSP from the PAD document so that council may consider approving the CSP in accordance with conditions found in Article 7 sign regulations of the Goodyear zoning ordinance. An alternative notification process was used for this rezone. A formal citizen review meeting was not held, but a notice providing information on the rezone was mailed to 63 owners of the property within 500 feet of the subject property and other stakeholders. There were no objections to the rezone received. So just to reiterate, the justification is so that any future related CSP amendments does not require a PAD amendment to amend the CSP itself. The proposal would consider the CSP a standalone document and therefore would not require modifications to the PAD. So I wanted to show you here on this graphic the varying options. And so staff has evaluated the impact of both the requests for rezone and the proposed CSP amendment with no major concerns being found. Staff recommends approval for the rezone to remove the Pebble Creek Marketplace CSP from the Pebble Creek Marketplace final PAD document. Then subsequently, providing your recommendation of approval for the third amendment to the comprehensive sign package for Pebble Creek Marketplace. If you're not inclined to approve this CSP amendment, then I would ask that you not provide a recommendation of approval to council regarding the rezone request. The reason for this is that the rezone would take away the CSP standards already afforded to users within the Pebble Creek Marketplace, because it would essentially be removing that CSP from, removing that CSP entirely. So that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. There is also an applicant representative to answer questions if need be.
Okay, thank you, Jimmy. Any questions for Jim, for staff?
Can you go back to?
Sure.
Is it on? Okay. Can you go back to the one that had the green and the red?
This one.
So there's no, if it goes to a combined CSP, no current people in the green area are going to have to do anything of sign changes to match what's in the Pebble Creek Marketplace CSP. Like their signs are good on their buildings and everything. It's okay. Like they'll just be allowed to do. They won't have to make any changes. They could just add to the pylons.
Thank you, Commissioner Roberts. So the request is to provide the same standards, design standards, from the Pebble Creek Marketplace CSP over to this green shaded area. So any new signage requests that come in would follow the existing standards for Pebble Creek Marketplace.
But none of the current ones will have to do any updates. It'll just be new sign requests.
That's correct, yeah. So
Okay.
this would be any future-related
Okay, thank you.
requests.
I'm a little confused here. It says that the CSP applies to all the 55 acres, but then you're only removing it from the 25 acres. Okay? So the other thing is, in the event that this gets approved, is there a need to amend Phase 2 pad? Because now it's going to have a CSP, whereas before it doesn't have one.
Thank you, Commissioner Nepomuceno. To answer your first question regarding the 55-acre statement within my report, so the 55 acres is regarding this request, so this CSP. So this CSP, as you can see in the red shaded area, would be the 55 acres.
Right.
Does that answer your question?
But then it only applies to the 25.
Yes, so the
Okay.
current CSP applies to the red shaded area here, the Pebble Creek Marketplace, so that's 25 acres. The new CSP, which is the 55 acre number, would apply to the whole area, both the
Okay, so
green
that's the,
and the red
that's
shaded.
that's the proposed one, not.
Yes, that's the
because
proposed.
I got confused with the sentence, so.
And to answer your second question, there is existing construction on the Phase 2, the green shaded area. So again, to touch on Commissioner Roberts' question, any new signage would have to conform to the standards of this new Pebble Creek Marketplace CSP, which again have not been changed. We're just extending the boundary to incorporate
Right.
this adjoining area.
So this is the third proposed amendment. What's the amendment 1 and 2 for?
Yeah, so the first amendment to this CSP, the original CSP was created with the zoning for the Pebble Creek Marketplace, so the red shaded area, the 25 acre. I will have to look into the details of the first and second amendments to the zoning. I don't have those offhand. I can certainly provide those to you if need be.
Those have been a few years ago, I take it.
Yes, more than a few years. That's correct.
So the only change on this thing as the rest of this area gets developed, now you're gonna have this pylon that's gonna have all of the businesses, right? And
so
it
the-
doesn't change the regulation for the individual sign, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct. So, because this CSP request would be incorporating this new area, that would allow users, if they choose to do so, to advertise on that freeway pylon sign if there was space available, which there is currently.
I got no other question.
You have another?
No.
No.
Thank you very
Other
much. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
okay. Would the applicant like to say anything? Okay.
My name is Andy Gibson, President of Boots and Duke Sign Company. Commissioner, Council, thank you so much for hearing this case. I represented this customer back when the first two amendments that you were talking about. One of them was for the freeway pylon sign. It was originally approved in the CSP, but wasn't built yet. So we had to go back and amend the CSP to say we're building that sign. So that was one of the amendments. And then the other one, I think, was for ground sign location, where exactly we were putting the ground signs changed. So we had to amend that as well. So I've been involved with this project, I think, since 2007 or 8. So it's been a long-going project. My customer came forward and said they want to add another monument sign to the second phase, which is the green that's going on to Pebble Creek Marketplace. But what happened when the first case was approved, it was always the intention of everybody from phase 2 to be able to use that freeway pylon sign. But the way it was written into the CSP, into the PAD for the property, they weren't allowed to do that. So that's what really drove this to go through the different steps to where we're at right now. So it's to allow like Potato Barn and the other tenants on that second phase to be able to use that pylon sign. There's no sense to add another one since there's 5 empty spots on the existing pylon now. It was the sole intent of the property for everybody on phase 1 and 2 to use that pylon sign. And then with the development of phase 2, they had no monument signs at all along McDowell Road. So it makes sense to add a monument sign, which is the same design, the same colors, the same sizes as the other ones that were approved for the center. So to me, it's this sign package just kind of makes sense. So I could answer any other questions that you would have.
Well, I guess you can't take action on this number 3 without taking action on number 2. So that's, it's a pretty much given. So
Oh, yeah. They kind of need to go together. Absolutely.
I got a question for Jamie. Are there any other CSP in the city that's separate from the pad associated with it?
There are some older CSPs codified within PADs similar to this case. So we wouldn't actually bring those forth to you unless an amendment
No,
outside
I'm just
of.
saying that this is not going to be a precedent setting. So in other words, this is the first in a long time.
Historically, I can't speak to it being the first of all time. But like I said, this is an old practice of joining the CSP with the zoning itself, just because it is a cumbersome process if a developer or tenant wants to amend the CSP for minor changes. And so we don't practice that any longer. So CSPs are their own standalone documents. It's an easier and a quicker process for not only staff, but the users themselves.
Now, to me, it makes sense because to make it standalone, because if you change that, then you're going to have to amend the pad, and it becomes complicated at times. So, thank you.
Sir.
Okay, thank you, Jimmy. Are there any speaker cards?
I have none.
Anyone in the audience like to speak on this agenda item? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Would the secretary please read the staff recommendation?
Recommend approval of the request to rezone the subject property, subject to the stipulations included in draft ordinance number 2025 XXXX. Is there a motion for the staff recommendation or a motion to recommend denial of the staff recommendation? I have a motion by Commissioner Roberts.
What's the motion? Recommend approval?
The motion would be,
Any motion and second entered onto the screen is a motion for the staff recommendation. Otherwise, you need to voice an alternate motion.
That's fine.
we have a motion by Commissioner Roberts and a second by Commissioner Nepomuceno. The floor is open for commission discussion.
I find that it clears things up and makes it easier going forward. I don't see anything problem with it. So anybody else have anything to say?
The only thing is,
I like that it takes these two properties and we have continuity in the sign packages, so I agree.
yeah, because as the rest of that property gets developed, then you only have to amend the CSP, not the entire pad, so it makes sense to me.
Okay, call for the vote.
Okay, please enter your vote.
Commissioner Hegedus, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passed. The recommendation of approval will be forwarded to the City Council for the June 23rd meeting.
Okay, thank you. That concludes the public hearings. Now we have business to attend to. Agenda item number 3
Is the CSP.
is the CSP for Pebble Creek Marketplace, which was presented with the last item. Any questions for staff? Nope, I don't think so. No speaker cards, not a public hearing, so on to, will the secretary please read the staff recommendation?
Okay. Recommend approval of the Pebble Creek Marketplace third amended comprehensive sign package dated May 2025, subject to stipulations. Is there a motion for the staff recommendation or a motion to recommend denial of the staff recommendation? I have a motion by Commissioner Nepomuceno and a second by Commissioner Roberts. The floor is open for commission discussion.
I think we've locked it up, so We'll continue to go ahead.
Okay,
Call
please
for the
enter your vote.
Commissioner Hegedus, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you.
Okay, motion passed. The recommendation for approval will be forwarded to the City Council for the June 23rd meeting.
Okay, next item, agenda item number 4 is the CSP for Airport Gateway, and Jimmy is back to present that, please. Thank you.
Thank you again, Chairman Clymer. At this rate, I should be a pro in no time, huh? So the request before you now is from Stan Beard to recommend approval of the Airport Gateway at Goodyear Second Amended Comprehensive Sign Package. And this CSP includes provisions for adjustments to sign types and height allowances and is subject to stipulations. The Airport Gateway at Goodyear CSP applies to approximately 200 acres, as shown in the graphic here, and encompasses mixed-use industrial, commercial office, multifamily, and single-family zoning designations. The area highlighted in red encompasses roughly 48 acres and was rezoned business park for business park-like uses within urban logistics, now known as Formation 10, and has its own separate CSP titled Formation Park 10. So today's request will not apply to this red shaded area. The first CSP for this site was approved by the Development Review Committee in 2008, and then was subsequently amended in 2018 by City Council. In the first amended CSP, an additional 40 acres along Litchfield Road was added to the boundary of this CSP, along with additional sign standards for the large medical facility tenants. The area highlighted in green here encompasses roughly 71 acres and was recently rezoned in 2024 to planned area development with an underlying zoning district of I-1 or light industrial with a PAD overlay. This PAD overlay permitted additional C2 or general commercial uses as a stipulation of approval, and one of those uses being a retail store or convenience store that exceeds 50,000 square feet in size with a gas station with fueling pumps and canopies, referred to as large retail user with gas station in the ordinance. Another stipulation of approval from this rezone was the allowance of 2 freeway pylon signs on the property without obtaining a use permit. It was subject to 2 provisions. The first being a single user freeway pylon sign may be permitted if a single user is a retail store, convenience store, or other commercial development that exceeds 50,000 square feet in size. And then secondly, that the freeway pylon sign would not exceed 85 feet in height. The first request proposes to replace the design of 1 previously approved freeway pylon sign. The new design theme will create standards for a single tenant freeway pylon sign that may be utilized by the large retail user with gas station. The height of the amended freeway pylon sign shall be no greater than 85 feet, as mentioned before, which adheres to the stipulations approved with the 2024 rezone. And this graphic shows you the 2 originally approved freeway pylon sign designs and a rendering of the proposed design update for the large retail user with gas station, titled Pylon 1C. You can see that a decorative stone base has been added to the sign, which will match the material being used on that large retail user's building. The applicant believes this design provides ample signage to motorists traveling at high speeds along Interstate 10, allowing them sufficient time to safely and timely exit the freeway if they wish to visit that location. The second request proposes to provide wall signage for the large retail user with gas station that exceeds the wall signage standards provided in the current Airport Gateway at Goodyear CSP. Given the intended building scale of the large retail user with gas station, which is unique and unlike any other development within the city, as you may know, staff finds the proposed sizes heights, and configurations of the intended signage are appropriate and supportable. The third and final request proposes to provide canopy signage for the large retail user with gas station that exceeds the canopy signage standards provided in Article 7 sign regulations of the Goodyear zoning ordinance. As I mentioned in my prior slide, given the intended building scale of the large retail user with gas station and its associated fuel canopies, staff finds that the proposed heights, sizes, and configuration of the canopy signs to be appropriate. And here on the screen is a graphic representation of that canopy signage being proposed relative to the fuel canopies themselves. Staff has evaluated the impact of this proposed CSP. No major concerns were found. The request meets the evaluation criteria for a CSP as set forth in Article 7 sign regulations of the Goodyear zoning ordinance. And just to recap, this amendment has three major updates. The first being the freeway pylon sign design update. Second, increased wall signage. And lastly, increased canopy signage, all of which apply to the large retail user with gas station. All other sign requirements for every other user within the airport gateway at Goodyear CSP will remain unchanged, so no other changes. Staff recommends approval of the airport gateway at Goodyear comprehensive sign package. This concludes my presentation, and I can answer any questions. An applicant representative is also present.
Okay, any questions for staff?
You go back to that map.
Which one?
No, to the first one. Go back to the map. Where will the signs be located in this site?
All right.
Just
You can see my mouse here.
approximately.
The freeway pylon sign will be located along Interstate 10.
Okay,
The actual building itself is going to be oriented north-south in this area here. So it's within the area of the rezone. And so there will be building signage along the north, the east, the west, and the east. And the fuel canopies will be just to the east of the building. Or I'm sorry, the fuel canopies will be west of the building closest to Bullard Avenue. And for the fuel canopy signage, you'll have fuel canopy signage on the northern elevation, the western elevation, and the eastern elevation. No canopy signage is proposed on the southern elevation.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. The applicant want to say anything? Okay, very good. All right, any speaker cards?
I have none.
No, anyone in the audience want to speak on this item? Okay, will the secretary please read the staff recommendation?
Okay, recommend approval of the Airport Gateway at Goodyear Second Amended Comprehensive Sign Program dated May 2025. The Airport Gateway at Goodyear Comprehensive Sign Program, subject to stipulations. Is there a motion for the staff recommendation or a motion to recommend denial of the staff recommendation? I have a motion by Commissioner Nepomuceno and a second by Commissioner Roberts. The floor is open for commission discussion.
I think a lot of people are getting anxious to see that Buc-ee's sign sitting out there so they can drive to it. So I've heard people call me from out of town saying, when is that going to be open? We might want to come drive. Okay, let's call the vote.
Please enter your vote.
Commissioner Hegedus, how do you vote?
Steinman, aye.
Thank you.
Motion passed. The recommendation of approval will be forwarded to City Council for the June 23rd meeting.
And on to business item number 5, we have more signs. This is the agenda item 5, CSP for Canyon Trails Town Center. Planning Manager Christian Williams will present. Good evening, Christian.
Good evening, Chairman
Dapper as
Clymer.
usual. I love it.
Figured I'd give Jimmy a break because, as you can tell, he's had a very busy month. Here before you this evening with a request from Scottsdale Development Partners to request an amendment to a comprehensive sign package, CSP for short, as you're well aware at this point in the hour, for a 91-acre commercial and mixed-use multifamily development called Canyon Trails Town Center. A little history on the property. In 1999, the whole Canyon Trails development Phase 1 was rezoned to a mix of commercial and residential uses. In 2005, the site in yellow, which is 91 acres, was rezoned for Canyon Trails Town Center. That was rezoned from residential and commercial to entirely commercial. And in 2005, at that same time, a comprehensive sign package was approved. One component of that we'll be discussing today were the 3 monument signs, and I'll discuss those 3 monument signs on the next slide. And in 2021, as many of you are aware, a rezone for 12.7 acres was conducted to create a mixed-use feel to that center, and now you have those Senna at Canyon Trails Apartments on the north side. So I forgot, I have little click things. All right, so as part of the 2005 CSP, the current monument signs were going to be placed. It was understood that the Loop 303 would be coming through the area in an approximately 500-foot wide corridor. So as a part of that, it was the city was aware that those monument signs needing to be on the property would be very far from where drivers would be able to see them, probably 5 times as far as most monument signs. So it was agreed for that process that the monument signs could be located temporarily in the city right-of-way until the time that the Loop 303 was needed by ADOT. And that time is now. So Loop 303 is needed. The monument signs need to be removed. So the request for this CSP is actually just to relocate the signs about 150 to 200 feet away onto the applicant's property so that the freeway construction can take place. So they will literally be picking them up, not as easily as I just did, and moving them onto their property. So that is what this amendment does. So with that, staff is recommending that you forward an approval recommendation to amend the Canyon Trails Town Center comprehensive sign package in order to allow those 3 monument signs to move about 150 to 200 feet away onto the private property. And as a note, any future amendments to monument signs or freeway pylon signs or any of those things will come back before you for an amendment to the CSP if they are requested in the future. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions for staff? Seems
Well,
fairly
this is just
straightforward.
this is just relocating the sign, so not everything else remained the same. So why is there a need for this commission to look at this instead of just the office approving it?
Great question, because the provision in the sign package was about having those signs be located on right-of-way. And it stated that if there were amendments to those signs or their locations, it would come back before this board.
Okay, good enough. Okay,
So we have it. Okay,
thank you. Okay,
and I don't think there's any reason to talk to the applicant. It sounds straightforward. So is there any,
Yeah.
oh, hi, there they are. You got any questions? You got something? Oh, okay, well then, please shoot.
Yeah, if you could please come up.
I apologize.
I was ready to deny it. Oh, come on.
That's okay. David Mallon with Scottsdale Development Partners. I'm a development consultant for the owner of the center, which is Canyon Trails Investments, LLC. Just a little bit of history. I actually was the original developer of the center. Started working on it in 2003. We did get the approvals in 2005. The center opened in 2008. The freeway, the Loop 303, was supposed to be built by 2010.
Just like the new shopping center.
Exactly. So it's been a long, long, difficult road, as you can imagine. And we're basically here, we are hoping this is just an interim step. There were actually 2 parts to the stipulation to the site plan approval as it relates to these monuments. One is when the construction starts for the Loop 303, we're required to remove those signs out of your right-of-way. So we're here today for the approval to relocate them now back onto the shopping center property. The second part, though, that I wanted to mention is that the stipulation then goes on to say that we have the right, subject to your review and approval, we have the right to erect freeway pylons up to 65 feet tall. That's important because the freeway that's going to be built is going to be elevated. So we're here today sort of as an interim step. We want your approval for the relocation of the existing 20-foot tall monuments back onto our property. But the reality is they won't be seen by motorists on the freeway because the freeway will be elevated. So we need to get those signs moved onto our property by September 1st. That's the magic date when ADOT says they're going to start construction. So we're working with staff now on the feasibility of converting one or more of these monument signs into freeway pylons. We're really excited that we're finally going to be on a freeway and not on Cotton Lane. And so if things work out like we hope with staff on that feasibility, we hope to be back in front of you to amend our monuments to freeway pylons.
So you're coming back for the increased height?
And
At that
new
point in time.
signs. Right now, we're just literally picking up and relocating
Right,
the existing
right.
signs.
Well, thank you, and I'm sure we'll be happy to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Okay, any speaker cards?
I have none.
Anyone in the audience want to speak? Okay, will the secretary please read the staff recommendation?
Okay, recommend approval of the Canyon Trails Town Center First Amended Comprehensive Sign Plan dated May 2025, subject to stipulations. Is there a motion for the staff recommendation or a motion to recommend denial of the staff recommendation?
I made a motion before we even spoke.
Oh, I have a motion from Commissioner Nepomuceno and a second from Commissioner Roberts. The floor is open for commission discussion.
Pretty
I think we-
straightforward to me.
Pretty straightforward, okay, thank you. Call for the vote.
Please enter your vote.
Commissioner Hegedus, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, motion passed. The recommendation of approval will be forwarded to the City Council for the June 23rd meeting.
Okay, thank you. That concludes our business. Are there any staff communications?
Thank you, Chairman. First, I wanted to introduce the gentleman to my left here. His name is Phil Cochran. He is an assistant city attorney with the city, and he is going to be our primary city attorney liaison for the Development Services Department. So you're going to be seeing more of Phil at the meeting. So please join me in welcoming Phil to the team. He has worked with us. He actually was in our department for some time and has worked with us for a long time. So he's very familiar with the development process, but now he's our primary legal liaison.
Welcome aboard.
I also wanted to give you an update. At your last meeting, you considered another sign package for GSQ, and that was approved by City Council this past Monday. I know it's in your script and you'll bring it up, but I do just want to point out that our next meeting is an odd time. It's in 2 weeks' time. So that's so we can prepare for council's summer break. So after that meeting, commission will be going on a summer break aligned with City Council. That's all I have.
It's gonna be here.
Yes.
I'm just going to say that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, all right. Next Planning and Zoning Commission meeting will be on June the 25th, 2025, 6 p.m. at the Goodyear City Hall Chambers. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.